Calibration of the MCXL milling unit is to be done every 4 weeks or monthly as stated in the MCXL maintenance log. The calibration toolset can be found in the lower left-hand drawer of the milling unit. From the acquisition unit, to open the CEREC software, double-click on the CEREC SW4 icon. From the start screen of the software, scroll your cursor up to the top of the screen to drop down the Systems menu. Click on Configuration. Then click on Devices. Click on the icon of the MCXL unit. In the Step menu, click on Calibration. Close the lid of the MCXL unit so that the burr motors can be positioned to remove the burrs. Open the MCXL lid and replace the burrs with the calibration pins. Use the burr removal tool to remove the burrs. Place the tool over the left burr and turn the tool towards you counterclockwise to loosen the burr. Once the burr is loose, you can use your fingers to remove it the rest of the way. Now input a calibration pin. Use the tool to turn it away from you clockwise until you hear a click. This will let you know that it is tightened. Now use the burr removal tool on the right side. Turn the tool away from you counterclockwise to loosen the burr. If needed, use your fingers to remove the burr the rest of the way. Input the calibration pin and use your fingers to tighten it down if necessary. Use the burr removal tool and turn it clockwise until you hear a click. Use the provided torque screwdriver to loosen the screw on the block chuck to remove the centerpiece. You can use a flat-headed screwdriver or a mixing spatula to remove the chuck. Now input the calibration specimen. There is a notch at the top of the calibration specimen that coincides with a notch on the internal portion of the block chuck. The specimen must engage this notch for it to sit down correctly. Place the calibration specimen into the block chuck with the notch facing the 9 o'clock position. Make sure that it sits flush to the chuck. Now use the provided screwdriver to tighten the screw down until you hear a click. The MCXL unit is now ready for calibration. You can press start on the CEREC AC unit or from the MCXL unit to begin this process. Once the calibration is finished, the burr motors will position themselves so that you can remove the calibration pins. In the software, click and highlight the burrs that will be replacing the calibration pins. Then remove the calibration pins from the MCXL unit. Open the MCXL lid and use the provided torque screwdriver to loosen the screw on the block chuck to remove the calibration specimen. Once the calibration specimen has been removed, it is easier to access the calibration pins to remove them. You can now use the burr removal tool to replace the calibration pins in the motors. Place the tool over the calibration pin and on the left side, turn counterclockwise to loosen the pin. Once the pin is removed, input a 12S step burr into the left motor. Use the burr removal tool to turn clockwise until you hear a click to tighten the burr. Now repeat this process on the right motor. Once the pin is removed, input a 12S cylinder burr. Use the burr removal tool to turn clockwise until you hear a click. Now when replacing the centerpiece of the block chuck, there is a notch at the top of it similar to the calibration specimen. This coincides with the notch on the internal portion of the block chuck. The centerpiece must sit flush with the block chuck. Once you have inserted the centerpiece, make sure that it's sitting correctly. After you have done this, tighten the screw with the provided screwdriver. After replacing all the components, press start on the CEREC AC unit and you have completed the calibration for the MCXL manual block chuck.